Bienvenidos a Aspira English Academy. Gracias por participar en esta lección de nuestra serie diseñada para participantes de nivel avanzado en inglés. En nuestras lecciones avanzadas nos enfocamos en las técnicas del lenguaje utilizadas para hablar y escribir en inglés. También practicamos el pensamiento analítico y la comprensión leyendo y escuchando sobre temas controvertidos. Hoy hablaremos sobre los puntos de vista que rodean los efectos de la publicidad dirigida a los niños y de quién es la responsabilidad de protegerlos. Puedes pausar o repasar secciones del video cuando necesites más tiempo para analizar la lectura. En la descripción abajo de este video encontrarás enlaces para accesar materiales que acompañan esta lección. Esperamos que disfrutes la lección y no te olvides inscribirte a nuestro canal de YouTube para explorar más videos. Revisemos nuestra agenda de hoy. Durante esta lección tendrás la oportunidad de revisar vocabulario que se encuentra en nuestra lectura sobre publicidad para niños, contestar preguntas de comprensión relacionadas con la lectura, aprender técnicas de lenguaje que pueden usarse en la escritura persuasiva, y repasar medidas para mejorar tu aprendizaje en este tema. Esta lección es para estudiantes avanzados y por lo tanto la enseñaré completamente en inglés. Vamos a comenzar. Let's review some important facts about advertising to children. Children and adolescents view 40,000 commercials per year on TV alone. Teenagers represent $155 billion per year of their parents' spending money. Children younger than 12 represent another $25 billion. 80% of all global brands now deploy a tween strategy. Tweens are between 9 and 12 years old. American children aged 12 to 17 ask their parents for products they have seen advertised an average of 9 times before parents finally gave in. Before we begin reading more about this topic, what would be your answer to the questions on the left? What is your point of view? Do companies have the right to advertise to whoever they want? Is it parents' responsibility to protect their children from seeing commercials? Should parents and doctors be concerned about how advertising affects children? Please make a note of your responses to these questions before we proceed. Let's review some of the vocabulary that will appear in our reading. I will share the word with you first, and then share the definition in English. A consumer is a person who buys something. To be vulnerable means at risk of physical or emotional harm. To distinguish is to know the difference between things. Purchasing power is the authority to make buying decisions. To influence is to convince someone to behave a certain way, and pester is to bother someone with repetitive behavior. Sneaky is sly or secretive. To cross-promote is to market a product while advertising another. Ethical means morally acceptable. A regulation is a rule or law. To exploit is to gain money at the expense of another person. And inexperience is lack of skill and understanding in an area. We will now begin part 1 of our reading. Follow along with the audio. Vocabulary words that we reviewed previously will always appear on the right-hand side of the slide. After we listen to the audio for each part of our reading, I will ask you a question to test your comprehension of what we just read. Let's begin the audio.
Do you skip ads or get up to do an errand when a commercial comes on? The average child under 5 does not. Young children cannot distinguish between advertising and entertainment. Older children and teens recognize the difference, but they don't consider the negative effects of ads. It's no wonder that children and teens are the prime targets for so many marketing campaigns.
Let's review your comprehension of Part 1. Why are kids considered vulnerable consumers? I will give you a few seconds to think about the answer, or you can pause and rewind to the last slide if you wish to review the reading. According to the reading, children are too young to understand the negative effects of advertising. They are vulnerable because they can't distinguish if ads are harmful or not. We will now begin Part 2 of our reading. Follow along with the audio, and after we listen, I will ask you a question to test your comprehension.
Young kids may not have much of their own spending money, but they do have a lot of purchasing power. Kids greatly influence their parents' purchasing decisions about groceries, restaurants, vacations, and toys. Most parents don't realize that their kids are pestering them to buy certain products or services due to ads that have directly targeted their kids.
Question number 2. Why do children and young teenagers have so much purchasing power? I will give you a few seconds to think about your answer or to pause and review the reading. According to the reading, they have a lot of purchasing power because they influence their parents to buy them things by pestering them. After repeatedly asking them, many parents will give in and buy them what they want. Part 3. Follow along with the audio.
Large corporations find sneaky ways to market to young audiences. Hiring child psychologists is one way. These specialists have taught marketers that 3 to 7-year-olds love to play make-believe, and 7 to 12-year-olds like to collect things. Businesses also work together to cross-promote their products. For example, movie characters help sell cereal and running shoes, and merchandise helps sell movie tickets. Ka-ching!
Question number 3. Why would a cereal company hire a child psychologist? I will give you a few seconds to think about your answer or review the reading. According to the reading, cereal companies hire child psychologists because they know what children of different ages like. The cereal company includes these things in their ads so that children will influence their parents to buy them the product. Part 4.
Parents aren't the only victims of kidvertising. Many health experts blame marketers for the rising costs of childhood obesity. Food marketing accounts for approximately half of the advertisements North American kids are exposed to each day. These ads feature everything from candy bars and soda pops to sugar cereals and fast food restaurants.
Why are marketers blamed for the childhood obesity problem? According to the reading, marketers are blamed for childhood obesity because their ads feature harmful food, such as candy, fast food, and sugary drinks. These ads exploit children to want to buy these unhealthy foods. Part 5 of our reading.
Is advertising to children ethical? In some countries, there are strict regulations on marketing to kids. In Sweden and Norway, advertising to children on TV is illegal. In Quebec, Canada, advertising to kids in any way is against the law. The Advertising Standards Authority in the UK can ban an ad if it exploits a child's inexperience or encourages children to pester parents to make a purchase. In addition, product placement is not allowed in children's programming. Other countries rely on self-regulation.
Question number 5. Why do many countries have regulations to control what is advertised to children? According to the reading, many countries regulate advertising to children because it encourages them to pester their parents to buy things that might be unhealthy for them. Children are inexperienced and don't understand what may be harmful. This is the last part of our reading. Please follow along with the audio.
While regulations are tightening in many countries and industries, wise marketers know how to bend the rules. For example, it's no secret that kids see plenty of ads on programs that are not intended for child audiences, for example, reality shows. There are also few regulations in digital advertising. In fact, using sponsored internet ads that match kids' search terms may be the sneakiest and most profitable way to market to kids. Why would Johnny skip or close an ad if it's the most entertaining part of his online experience?
Question number 6. Why is internet advertising especially dangerous for children? According to the reading, there are few regulations for digital advertising, making it easier for companies to use sneaky strategies to advertise to children. While children are watching other things, companies include ads that are fun and entertaining, making children want to watch them. Okay, let's return to the point of view questions that were posed at the beginning of our lesson. Do companies have the right to advertise to whoever they want? Is it parents' responsibility to protect their children from seeing commercials? Should parents and doctors be concerned about how advertising affects children? Did you change your point of view or not based on our reading? Sometimes in our writing or speaking, we want to convince or persuade people to change their point of view. To do this, we need to use persuasive language techniques in our writing. In this section of the lesson, we will review some language techniques you can use to persuade others in your writing. Look at the phrases on this slide. When you include phrases such as these in your written and spoken language, it will strengthen your ability to persuade others to your point of view. I recommend that you pause the video here and take some time to read through these examples. You can also download a copy of these phrases in the links below in the video description. Let's look at some examples of how we can use these persuasive phrases in our language using the information from our reading. What if my point of view is that companies have the right to market to children with no regulations to control how they do it? How can I persuade someone to agree with me? These are some things that I might write or say. The persuasive phrases are in red. Without a doubt, companies have the right to market to whoever they want. To begin with, we have freedom of speech in the United States. In fact, Children of all ages use technology now, which means that companies can't control what they see. Moreover, parents are responsible for their children, not companies. 6 years as a parent has taught me that I have to control what my child watches and listens to on TV. In this section of the lesson, we will practice some writing techniques you can use when writing a persuasive essay or a letter. Step 1 is the introduction. In the introduction, you will identify your topic, state your position or your stance, and write a hook. The topic is what your essay or letter is about. The position or stance is your point of view on the topic. And a hook is a statement that gets the attention of your reader. It gets them interested to read more. So how might I write a persuasive essay on the topic we read about today? Here's an example. My topic could be effects of advertising on children. My position could be parents and doctors should be concerned about how advertising affects children. And my hook could be advertising that is targeted for children can have very harmful effects on them. Now I will look at the phrases on this slide, and I'm going to use some of these phrases in the next step of my writing. Remember that you can download a copy of these phrases in the links below. Step 2. I'm going to choose 3 reasons why I chose my position using persuasive language techniques and evidence from our reading. My first reason: according to many psychologists and doctors, children are too young to know when ads are harmful to them. In fact, many ads cause children to want to eat unhealthy foods that can cause obesity and diabetes. Put yourself in parents' shoes. They can't monitor what their children watch every minute of the day, especially if they are at someone else's house or at school. You will see the persuasive language examples I used here in red. And the last step, step 3, is to write a conclusion statement. A conclusion is the end of your essay or letter, where you explain your point of view one last time. So for my conclusion, I will say, in conclusion, the reasons and evidence that I have presented prove that the effects of advertising on children are harmful. The government should have strong regulations against advertising companies that target children in their marketing. Let's have a final summary and review of what we just learned. Here is the outline that I followed and that you can use whenever you write about a persuasive topic. Remember to use the examples of persuasive language that I shared with you. You can read about other controversial topics, choose a position, and practice these techniques. You should practice both speaking and writing in persuasive language with a partner. They can also give you more ideas and suggestions. In this example, I used 3 reasons, but of course you can use many more. Download the practice worksheets using links in the video description below to help guide you. And you can also download a copy of this entire presentation and watch the video again. Hemos llegado al fin de nuestra lección. Muchas gracias por participar. Después de que termine este video, haz clic en los enlaces que se encuentran abajo en la descripción para descargar hojas de práctica para trabajar de forma independiente o con un compañero y acceder a un breve examen para medir tu progreso sobre el contenido de hoy. Y finalmente, por favor, visítanos y mantente en contacto. Queremos mantenerte informado de nuevos videos. Aquí verás nuestra página de internet donde podrás unirte a nuestra lista de correos y también nuestro correo electrónico. Por favor, inscríbete a nuestro canal de YouTube y sigue aspirando. No te rindas.